Hi everyone. Before we dive into episode 3 topic, I want to kick things off with a brand new segment, and I'm calling it Real Talk, Real Stories. This is where I will share real workplace cases, stories that are too familiar and too frustrating and too common. Maybe it happened to you, maybe it happened to someone you know, or maybe you are still holding it in. Either way, when you hear it, you will know that it is out there and it is happening to any of you guys. These are not just complaints. These are experiences that says a lot about the kind of workplace culture we are in. The kind where late for work are being fined, bosses' broken promises, and double standards that become the norm. So, let me start with 3 cases that I found online. And I can tell you that one of them kind of relate to me before. Case number 1. In this company, the team was required to work on-site daily, but their manager, who lived in Malaysia, had secured a permanent work-from-home setup for himself. So, from the comfort of his home, he would micromanage the team through endless video calls, constant check-ins, and even screen sharing demands. If a task took longer than expected, he would ask the employee to walk him through every step, despite not facing the same daily commuting or office fatigue. The whole setup was clear. Flexibility for him, surveillance for everyone else. You know, this is the kind of double standard that kills the morale. You cannot sit comfortably in your aircon home in JB, drinking your coffee, then ask your team in Singapore to screen share and explain why they never finish the task faster. You want productivity? Sure. But don't rush fellow colleagues when you yourself already escaped the daily MRT rides, the traffic jam, office politics, or even sending kids to their school. Then that manager still got time to micromanage from far. In my opinion, it's not just unfair, it's demoralizing. People won't say it to your face, but inside, they already give up. And once a leader breaks the rules they enforce on others, the whole team stops believing. Not because the work is hard, but because the system feels unfair. Some people might tell you, just endure it. Others will say, go to HR. Actually, some people believe HR is there to help, but most of us, we have learned to keep quiet or find our own way out. So maybe it's not a manager problem. It might be a company culture problem. Still, you are not powerless. You can always document everything like emails, WhatsApp messages, performance reviews. Oh, and keep those receipts if you had used your own money. Check your company policies. Most companies have work-from-home guidelines. If your boss is violating them unfairly, that's leverage for you, your advantage. And if it gets worse, Ministry of Manpower, also known as MOM, does allow for anonymous whistleblowing, especially if it's a workplace discrimination or policy breach case. You are not expected to suffer in silence. Most of us forget this. Yes, HR protects the company, but you can still protect yourself with paper, policies, and proof. An employee in Singapore shared that her company imposed a strict lateness policy. For every minute she was late, she had to pay $1 per minute via PayNow to the company. Wow, that must be a new way of paying the fine. Using PayNow. In the past, usually it's put cash in a bottle or something like that. Anyways, let's continue. Management will print out the timesheets and confront staff, demanding payment even if they were just 5 or 10 minutes late. Some days, she had to pay $20 to $30 despite regularly working unpaid overtime. The rule was applied without flexibility, and there was no attempt to understand why someone might be late, whether due to family responsibilities, transport issues, or burnout. It became a daily source of stress and humiliation. Seriously, policies like this aren't about discipline. They are about control. Instead of addressing deeper issues like staff well-being or real productivity, that company created a system that penalized loyalty. One thing for sure, we can't make a police report. HR, maybe. But if HR is the one enforcing the rule, then how? File a complaint to MOM? Maybe also. But if you are still in a job and need the income, sometimes you just keep quiet and endure. So most people, they just swallow it. They pay the $10, $20, then sit at their desk, quietly resentful. Until one day, they either resign or completely shut off emotionally. That's how people stop caring. Not because they are lazy, but because they are tired of being punished for showing up or getting work done. If you are facing something like this and HR isn't helping, document it, screenshot, save your emails. Because one day, if you really want to take action or speak up, at least you are holding the facts. So this is the case that I mentioned that is kind of similar to my case before. Let me read it and see if it happens to you too. An employee was promised a promotion and told they would be considered if he or she took on more responsibilities. For 8 months, they went above and beyond, leading projects, mentoring juniors, staying late, essentially doing the job they were hoping to get promoted into. Their co-worker recognized their efforts, and after all that, management announced that the promotion wouldn't happen due to restructuring. So, no offer, no raise, not even a proper explanation. They left the employee feeling used, disappointed, and deeply undervalued. You see, it's so typical. They say show commitment, go the extra mile, be a team player. But behind the scenes, they already know you are not getting a promotion. It's not just disappointment, it's betrayal. Because you didn't just work hard, you believed them. That's the real damage, not just missing the title role, but knowing you were strung along, made to feel hopeful, then discarded quietly like nothing happened. Like my case, I wasn't chasing a title, just a fair salary. I found out new staffs were getting slightly more pay than me when they first joined with no experience. And I had more experience, more working years, and even trained some of them. So I asked my manager, and he said, "Okay, I will help you." I even accepted a team transfer that nobody wanted, because that supervisor was not nice to work with. Just to show my commitment. 3 years passed. Every year during performance review, they repeat the same sentence. You are too laid back. Need to show more initiative. Meanwhile, some new staffs got promoted after 3 years. And that I can accept because they really want the title. Salary was okay for them. And as for me, I was doing my job properly. I worked smart, stay low profile, and quietly. But quietly, I got sidelined, and don't forget, I was only asking for a fair salary, not a promotion title. By the 3rd year, I already knew the truth. I have been played. If you are thinking to talk to HR, then let's be honest. If management already made their choice, HR is just going to repeat what the manager already decided, just nicely to you. So what then? I say, try tracking your own value. Keep records of what you had contributed, like emails, project results, timelines, stuff outside of your job scope that you had done. Because next time they say you didn't do enough, at least you know what you have done. You can also refer to your company's promotion or salary review policies. Many people never read them, but I believe they are there, hidden in the employee handbook or HR portal. And if your company doesn't even have a proper process, that already tells you something about how they operate. Maybe the last thing you can do is know when to move. Some of us stay because we hope it will get better, like me. But sometimes staying is what makes us worse. Look, we can't always win, but we can try to stop waiting for people to value us. So that's it for today's Real Talk, Real Stories. 3 cases, 3 very real situations. And maybe, just maybe, one of them felt a little too familiar for one of you. That's not a coincidence. That's the reality we live with. The kind we whisper about during lunch breaks, rant about to our friends, and rarely say out loud at work. That's why this segment exists. Not to gossip, not to shame, but to remind you that you have been through it. You are not alone. You are not crazy. And you are definitely not weak. You are just working in a system that's often broken. And calling it out loud is the first step to taking back some control. So if you got your own story and want your story inside Real Talk Real Stories, drop it in the convention box, link in the description. We will keep it anonymous, but your voice, that will be heard. So, next up in episode 3, we are going to ask the question that's been sitting at the edge of every employee's mind. Can you really trust HR? Human resources. What it is, what it's supposed to be. Because based on what we have seen so far, the answer not as simple as you think. Until then, stay sane, stay employed, and remember, HR got 2 years, one for you, and one for the manager who complained about your attitude. Till then, see you next episode. Cheers and peace out.